Hello, and thank you for taking the time today to join our HR strategy presentation. As our moderator shared, my name is Julie Pope, and I lead the HR function at Renesas. In my presentation today, I'll be focusing on three key areas. First, I want to share with you the changes we've made to the HR function over the last 18 months. These changes were made to enable the HR function to be positioned to support company growth and achieve our 2030 aspirations. Culture underpins everything we do at Renesas, and during the second part of my presentation, I'll focus on the steps we've taken to embed our culture and ensure we have a compelling employee value proposition. And finally, I plan to share the outcome of the most recent culture survey and areas where we will focus for the rest of this year and beyond. So before I get into my content, I want to step back a bit and give you some context about the population and footprint of our organization. Renesas is formed of over 21,000 employees in 28 countries around the world, and we have over 125 physical locations. Within our population, we have employees based in factories, we have many engineers in labs, we have other office-based employees, and we also have a sizable remote-based population. Having this diversity of employees and location creates an interesting challenge for an HR organization. Our goal is to create an environment in which every single employee is enabled to do their best work. And we also want to be able to attract and retain the very best talent in our exceptionally competitive market. In addition to the population context, we're also impacted by the history of Renesas. We're an organization that's been formed from multiple acquisitions, and as you saw earlier, we continue to be highly acquisitive. This gives us a benefit of many diverse perspectives. However, it also means that we're complex. So in addition to the complexity and the global dispersion, we're also operating in a very rapidly changing environment. With this backdrop, we need our HR organization to be structured to be agile and to respond as an effective partner to the business to achieve our company aspirations. So in the rest of the presentation, I will share with you how we in HR have taken on this challenge. So I'll start to the changes that we've made to the HR organization. And when I joined Renesas just under 2 years ago, it was very clear to me that we have a very capable and committed HR team that was delivering to the business. So as I looked at the HR transformation, wanted to be sure that we were actually designed for the future so that we could scale with the business and support the growth. And the first part of that transformation was to operate as a global function. Previously, our HR support was at a country level or a regional level. And while operating in this way has an advantage that it's more simple, as a global company, it meant we were inefficient. We were solving problems, the same problem in multiple locations at the same time. And we also meant that our global leaders had to navigate this and often do different actions based on the country or the legal entity. So by having a global HR structure, this allows us to implement global strategies and to create more consistency in our employee experience. Next, we've created global centers of expertise because it was important that we have deep experts in our talent, reward, HR technology, and our operations functions. And also that these groups were able to look at our company through a global lens. So our experts are available to support both our HR community as well as our business leaders. Another area of focus is on simplification. And you'll hear this throughout my presentation, that as a business, as an HR function, we need to reduce the complexity. Our managers were spending way too much time on the HR core processes, and so navigating that was quite difficult. So over the past 18 months, what we've been doing is globalizing our HR technology, our systems, and our operations so that HR can become much easier to do business with. These changes are not complete. It will take us some time, but we've defined a roadmap, and we will continue to raise the bar each year. Finally, we are working on embedding and reinforcing our culture as we deploy systems, tools, and resources for employees. These changes mean we're better able to leverage our skill and drive that more consistent employee experience. So once we've restructured our HR function, then important to really look at where we prioritize, where do we focus? And in this year, we have set forth these strategic priorities, which will carry us through the next 2 to 3 years. First, in partnering with the business to enable growth, and this is really where we can have the most reach and the most impact as an HR function. Working with managers to make sure that they bring out their best in employees means that HR support can be multiplied through better manager effectiveness. As an organization which is highly acquisitive, our focus on providing support through our active M&A strategy is also very important. Our HR team supports M&A from the beginning of due diligence right through to integration. Our teams also work on strategic workforce planning by leveraging insights into talent availability across the globe. We're able to partner and with both business leaders and provide them with data and insights that enables us to be intentional about where we grow the organization. The next pillar I'll talk about is in the area of talent. Being able to attract, engage, and retain our talent is extremely critical. This is also where we can take advantage of our global footprint. In the talent acquisition space, we're focused on improving our ability to recruit and select the best employees regardless of where they might be located. In the past year, we have moved from a model that was recruitment on a very local basis, which really limited the talent pool we looked at, to looking at the best talent around the world regardless of where they sit. And so really focusing on finding those passive candidates as well as the active ones. In the reward space, we're ensuring that we have market competitive offerings for employees. And in 2022, we took some significant steps to harmonize our benefit offerings and to simplify our compensation structure so that it's easier for employees to see the connection between our compensation and their activities. We'll continue this focus going forward, looking for ways for employees to benefit from our performance, including introducing employee share purchase plans. Talent engagement is also where we focus on the important matters of diversity and workforce mobility, and I will speak to these in more detail shortly. Finally, on operational excellence. This is about getting the basics right. We recognize HR is an enabling function, and to do that well, we must have a service mindset. We're simplifying our tools, our resources, policies, processes, so that it's easier for managers and employees to get what they need. We're also focused on improving our HR technology so that we're automated where it makes sense to be, and focused on getting accurate data and insights. On culture, You've heard from Shibata-san many times. This is extremely important to us. And today, through the next part of the presentation, I'll give a few updates. So as we looked at where we focused last year, again, simplification, incredibly important to impact our agility. We also have looked for more ways to embed our culture as well as enabling flexibility in our organization. So starting with embedding culture, we wanted to take our culture actions to the next level. And so we wanted to show employees what it meant to exhibit our culture elements. We've shared information through many communications channels, including written communications. We have a Taggy Times newsletter. And also we've produced documents to show what it means to have a Taggy mindset. We also have video communications, and we've engaged employees through competitions. We've also taken steps to embed the culture through the employee life cycle. And what this means is, as we're recruiting, we are assessing candidates against our Taggy elements. We're also enhancing capability, and again, both through our communications as well as providing training and development to increase that capability. We were really pleased to see in our latest survey that over 70% of our employees believe their leaders are exhibiting a Taggy mindset. In the topic of flexibility, this is an area where we believe we can differentiate ourselves from the competition. In the post-COVID world, you see many employers who are calling employees back to the office against a backdrop of productivity concerns. We are convinced that we can better address productivity and collaboration by creating more mature environments where employees and managers are empowered to work together to create the best working patterns that make sense for them. We also believe that operating in this way will appeal to a smart, highly engaged talent who seek flexibility. We're also seeing high level of engagement from some of the other actions we've done, like Focus Fridays, where we encourage employees to have meeting-free Fridays and able to focus on tasks or other items that require work without interruption. And our employee response to our Renesas Day was overwhelmingly positive. Renesas Day provides all employees with the same day off. And what this means is they're actually able to take a break from their day-to-day work. Also, in the topic of flexibility, we launched this year a remote working abroad offering. At launch, we gave employees the option of over 2,000 combinations of nationality and destination. Now, this is quite complex because you do have to pair up the different nationalities with each destination, which is why there's so many. But the effort really paid off. We had a great response from it, and over 60 employees booked and were approved for this flexibility in the first week. Employees choose this benefit if they want to extend a vacation with a period of remote working. And it's most popular with our diverse workforce, many of whom are living outside of the area in which they were born. So the remote working abroad benefit means they can extend visits to family who they may not have been able to see a lot over the past 3 years. On the topic of diversity, we are very aware that a diverse and inclusive environment can boost our business results. Our biggest challenge in this space is the engineering space. There is often a lack of diversity in the talent pools in engineering programs. To address this challenge, we have partnered with universities at an early stage to ensure that Renesas is known and that it is a recognized brand. We've also developed a number of partnerships, like with Inspiring Girls, so we can encourage more women into STEM subjects. And we have other partnerships that we can leverage for talent pools. Recognizing the importance of role modeling, we really want to bring more senior diverse candidates into the population, and that's another area of focus. And finally, we aim to create an inclusive environment so employees are enabled to do their best work. We deliver a number of events, including panel discussions and guest speakers, and we have employee resource groups and celebrate landmark events like International Women's Day and Pride Month. On the topic of talent mobility, enabling our talent to move within the organization has a number of benefits. For the employee, it enhances engagement, provides development, and it enables career progression. For the business, investing in mobility enables us to accelerate the development of high talent. In this space, we started work last year to make our internal openings more visible to employees. We have so many opportunities, and we want to enable employees' growth and development within our company by facilitating more talent moves. And in the global mobility space, we're currently working to create rotation programs. We want to be able to both develop our employees, but also have best practice sharing across our diverse teams. Shibata-san shared with you earlier that we just completed our culture survey. And what we saw was really great participation with over 90%. And we've also saw our engagement go up a bit. For the remainder of the presentation, I would like to share more about the areas that we're focused on, that we've defined so far, that we want to focus on. So we've defined 3 global priorities, the first of which is being more global. We know right now we are not taking full advantage of the globalness of our company. And so we want to do a number of things, one of which, with our many acquisitions, is to get them integrated into the company more quickly so that we're spending time on connecting those teams and sharing information early on. We are also taking action around our naming conventions. Words matter, and our language can put us in silos versus bringing us together under one global Renesas family. At a site level, we are reconfiguring our offices to create more collaborative spaces, so we have more employees coming together to network with their peers. Under employee experience, we want to continue focusing on the opportunities available to individuals across teams and across borders. This year in the survey, we asked a new question on well-being. And what we heard from employees is they need some support around workload and other things that we can provide to make it easier to work at Renesas. Which also gets us to the point on simplification. As I've mentioned several times, our complexity means we're not always easy to do business with, and so we will continue to work on making that easier for employees. The final category is on talent density. If you're not familiar with the term of talent density, it really relates to the percentage of top talent in the organization. And so again, there's a number of things that we're looking to do here. One is around our employee value proposition, making sure that's very clearly defined so both our current and our new employees know what we have to offer. We're also focused on bringing in some top specialist talent into key roles. And finally, I've mentioned before, manager capability. We do need to continue to increase this capability to enable managers to provide the best support to their employees. So the way that we will do this, the way we will take this action is really focused around distributed accountability. We will continue to drive some top-down activities, but we'll also look at more bottoms-up. So we want to make sure that we're listening to sites and what's happening at a site level, and also that the managers are taking action. The reality for most employees is that the manager makes the most difference in their day-to-day experience. So we want to determine how to get managers to best support their teams. We're confident that this approach will enable us to address more of the survey feedback, more than we were even able to last year. So in summary, we are excited that we have an HR structure that is enabled for the future. We are prioritizing what we're doing within HR to get the biggest impact, and we are enabling the company on our exciting new journey. So this concludes my presentation. I really thank you for listening today, and I am happy to take questions.
ありがとうございました。
Thank you very much. Please limit your questions to 2 each. And please use the raise hand button if you do have questions to present. Please unmute yourself if you have questions. If you do have questions, please use the raise hand button on the Zoom screen. We will also accept questions from the same person. Well then, Nishioka-san, please. Please unmute yourself and present your question. Please present your question. Unmute yourself and please present your question. Please go ahead. You have mentioned remote workers. And when has that been introduced? When has remote working been introduced? And just for reference sake, from which country are they from? And for midterm hires, if there's a policy as to how many will be taken into account, if you could just share the numbers, that would be very helpful.
Yes, I think you're asking about the remote working abroad. So this is a benefit that's open to all employees, and it's really to facilitate flexibility. So the remote working in this case is not on a permanent basis, although we do have many remote workers, but this is to allow, let's say, someone who has been living away from where their family is, to extend vacations and work for a longer period, up to 30 days, in another country. Does that address your question?
Thank you very much.
And on the question of mid-career,
Has that encouraged more people to recruit themselves?
it's certainly to it's certainly helpful as we do our talent acquisition. So what we've seen is almost all candidates these days are asking us about our flexibility policies. And so to be able to provide both the flexibility we provide for office workers as well as things like remote working abroad, it makes us a very attractive, makes our proposition even more attractive as an employer.
Thank you very much. Was that a program that has been newly installed this year?
Yes, it is. The remote working abroad, we've had flexible working, so that isn't new. But this remote working abroad with the up to 30 days, we only launched that a few months ago.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any other questions? If you have a question, please indicate by a push on the raise hand button on the screen. Okay, then we now finish the Q&A session for this section. Thank you very much for your participation.